Whoo, buddy. Oh my goodness. WrestleMania 40 is in the books, and what a WrestleMania it was. It was tagged as the biggest WrestleMania of all time, and it definitely lived up to the hype. So many things to talk about, so many special moments, two huge main events. But let's get into some of the big winners of the weekend. And still, mommy's always on top. Rhea Ripley is a star. It feels like she's just beginning, and she's been around for a while, but always putting on great matches, always a really big presentation. She's going to be one to watch for years to come, and a big staple in the women's division. Unbelievable stuff from Rhea. Bianca, Naomi, and Jada, they need a team name. They had a big presence in their match. It wasn't the match of the night, but I think there's a lot of potential with this group. LA Knight showed out big time. Yeah, the new face of Slim Jim. He is a breakout star of the year and definitely had some big moments in this WrestleMania match against AJ Styles. But I think a lot of it really has to do with him just showing as a big staple on the roster and his big presentation with the Slim Jim car. The company has a lot of faith in LA Knight, clearly. And still, Logan Paul. This dude has no business being this good at wrestling for how little he's done it so far. Another big match. Another level up for this dude. Unbelievable stuff from Logan Paul. I mean, he is in the ring with two legends in Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, and he looked not only like he belonged, but he was really up to task to meet the demands of being in such a physical match with two absolute legends of the game. Unbelievable stuff from Logan Paul. And new. This one warms my heart. As a resident of the Bay Area and a big wrestling fan, I have to love Bayley by default, but everybody loves Bayley. The crowd was hot for Bayley winning this match and winning the title. Unbelievable. Lots of emotions, I think, that everybody had for Bayley. She's just such a lovable character, even as a heel. She was emotional. Can't say enough good things about Bayley. Triple H had a lot of good things to say about her in the press conference, too. Taking it back to night one's main event, The Rock and Roman Reigns. I have to give a big shout out to The Rock. 51 years old, mentioned it in my last video, but he looked amazing. He carried that match a lot of the time too. Hasn't missed a step. Huge presence. What an entrance. His addition to WrestleMania upped the stakes to another level. And The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, on the board of directors of TKO and WWE, we're lucky that we're going to be able to still have The Rock in our lives and on screen for what seems like a little bit longer. And who knows what else he has in him, but clearly he is a big player, and I hope that he continues to stay and do big things within the company. The grandson of the plumber, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, and new. My man finally finishes the story. This was absolute cinema. He finally did it. He finished the story. He won the championship that his father never did. He paid it off for all of us who were very, very sad and disappointed last year when he didn't win and felt like he deserved to win. And last year's WrestleMania, at WrestleMania 39, felt like the time that probably should have been the time to move on from Roman Reigns as undisputed Universal WWE Champion, to hand it over to Cody, who seemed like the face of the company, didn't pull the trigger last year, and all good things are worth the wait because this year felt so much sweeter. Big celebration in the ring. So total Avengers Endgame moment for the main event. One of the best main events, probably the best main event that we might have seen in a WrestleMania, with everybody in the crowd cheering, everybody in the ring with Cody cheering, so many people from the locker room. It was cool to see Randy Orton in there, CM Punk, John Cena. I mean, all the emotions in that main event. And I can't just overstate the emotions for these two up here. Big moments for both of them. Bayley and Cody deserved everything, and what a way to end the night with Cody on top. Have to acknowledge the Tribal Chief. For as long as he was champion, broke records, did unbelievable stuff, put on the best story in wrestling history that spanned 4+ years with the Bloodline, and the tribal chief, head of the table, and ended up breaking a record, 9 most WrestleMania main events. That's the most in WWE history. A record-setting 1,316 days as champion. That historic reign has come to an end. But we must acknowledge the one. Is he the greatest of all time? I don't know. But his story and reign brought us the best wrestling story of all time with the bloodline and everything that happened along the way. I mean, talk about paying off a story. Holy moly. Acknowledge him. He's the man. Another big shout out to Paul Lee, inducted into the Hall of Fame. He had his big moment, an unbelievable speech. There was a lot of recognition for Paul Lee this weekend, and he was all over the place, not just on the main cards, but also his Hall of Fame speech was great. ECW chants throughout the entire weekend. I mean, this was in Philadelphia, home of ECW. Paul Heyman is the best there is in terms of being a manager, an on-screen character, a talker, reinvents himself over and over again. I mean, one of the biggest brains and best minds of the business, Paul Heyman, well-deserved Hall of Fame. And last but not least, the man, the boss, the head in charge, chief creative officer, chief content officer. I don't even know what his title is these days, but Triple H was getting his flowers all weekend, and absolutely well-deserved. Paul Heyman gave him a huge shout-out during his speech about bringing leadership to the locker room when it was most needed. The Rock has praised Triple H all weekend. All the other wrestlers, I mean, you could just tell everybody loves Triple H. And he absolutely deserves everything that is coming his way on the eve of WrestleMania. 2 big nights, an unbelievable event, the biggest WrestleMania of all time, breaking records, and this was his baby. He did this without Vince McMahon. This is the first WrestleMania without Vince McMahon. Clearly, Triple H is going to take over as the face of the company, at the head of charge for not just creative, but just live events, owning the locker room, leadership, presentation, creative. I mean, Triple H absolutely does it all. He deserves everything and more. We are very, very fortunate to have Triple H in charge of WWE for the ongoing and foreseeable future. He is the one to give praise for everything that's going right with the industry right now. I mean, can't say enough about Trips. He's the man. So there it is. Bit of a WrestleMania hangover. Great times. Really, really love the event. And we have some new exciting stories that will come up, some big developments. Very excited to see where wrestling goes from here. And I love that we can say once again, as the commentary team, also a big shout out to them, pointed out, Michael Cole was on point all weekend. Pat McAfee was on point all weekend. Corey Graves. And once again, we could say we love professional wrestling.